On today's expose, I wanted to talk about Margalie Zardos. She's a bitch. I mean, a witch. She's a witch.
I like witches.
Yeah. Well, you won't like this one. She's bad. So we actually I think may have seen her in this episode, which is fun because she's the one who found Nightcrawler and raised him. She has a daughter who goes by Amanda Sefton, who, I think we may see eventually. Amanda's real name is Jermaine. She first appeared in X-Men Annual number 4 in August 1980. She actually just recently died in X-Men Before the Fall, Sons of X number 1 in May of 2023. But what's really interesting about her, she is tied to the bigger universe because she met a young Scarlet Witch and saw how powerful Scarlet Witch was when she was fighting Chthon, the Elder God. So she said, "Hey, Wanda, why don't you go train with this lady? Her name is Agatha Harkness." Yeah. And she's kind of I feel bad for Nightcrawler because she's kind of like a Mystique character where she's kind of good sometimes, but only if it serves her purposes. So he's got two very similar parental type figures in his life. But yeah, she's said to be one of the most powerful witches on the planet. She even defeated Doctor Strange. So she rivals the Sorcerer Supreme power. She's actually had that power before. So she's someone you don't want to fuck around with. She's evil.
Ew. Evil. The anagram of letters that spells veil. Evil. Veil. Evil. Okay.
Oh.
Welcome to Bayville, my new home. It's time you remember why they call me Storm.
Look at me, I'm fat. Do I look that bad to you? Easy, you fuzzy elf. Everything is going to be just fine.
Storm! That was tight. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Welcome to this week's Solving for X. My name is Shawn. I'm the ultimate excavationist.
Oh, and I'm something of an X-fan myself, Kevin.
And we're here this week to talk about Shadowed Past and how it fits into the greater X-Men universe and talk about whether it solves for X or not. And it's not about Wolverine and his past like we thought.
It's not.
It's not. But before we get into that, let's look at our previously on from last week. So, okay, real quick. It's really hot. We're still going through the heat wave in California. So I'm sweating my ass off at work today. I work from home. And then on top of that, our systems went out and I got some really shit people. So I'm in a weird frame of mind right now. I'm forgetting things. I'm oddly giggly. This is Shawn after a day of work.
It's almost like overtiredness. When you're a kid and you're just went out for 2 days straight and you're like,
Yeah. That's totally what it is.
I love how the sound tells you everything.
Yeah. Well, last week we asked whose power would you want for gym class, and we Cyclops got 0 votes, Kevin. Absolutely 0 votes.
I mean, we talked about and you mentioned it, but his power wouldn't really be useful in gym class, especially if you wanted to be inconspicuous, Yeah,
that's not a good gym power.
Yeah.
Kitty got 19% of the votes. Nightcrawler got 29%, but in number 1, it took us a little while to get there, but we said Jean, and so did 52% of our listeners.
Okay.
It just makes sense. Sense. All right. Well, Shadowed Past. This one was about another 3 to 4 week before episodes, because our last episode came out around 3/3/2020 or 2001.
It's so weird.
And this was so about 3/31. Yeah.
There's big gaps.
Yeah, usually like you go on a break and then you come back and it all kind of comes out together.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? You know what changed it is Lost. Lost, I feel like, started doing the whole like mid-season finales. So I think we're more used to that now. I think before that it was more like this.
Yeah, and maybe I'm thinking like it's Kids WB, and maybe they realized they only had like 13 episodes, so they're trying to elongate, and they probably put other things in its slot. Or maybe there might have been like specials, like special Saturday morning specials that pushed it back, things like that. Trying to think of the network.
That's very true. Yep.
Yeah.
This was written by Bob Forward and Jules Dennis and directed by Steve E. Gordon, which we've seen his name on this show quite a few times too.
Yeah, yes, we have.
Yes. Oh, should we talk about the elephant in the room real quick, or the juggernaut in the room?
What is it? Tell me.
Last week we didn't do our X Factor, Kevin.
Oh, yes. And you messaged me like, I thought we did. What? And I was thinking of the week before, and what I was going to say and never said.
Yeah. And it was funny because right after we recorded, I thought to myself, wait a minute, I didn't come up with an X Factor, did I? And then like a few days later, I was editing, and that's when I messaged you, and you were like, yeah, we did. I'm like, did we? But we did not. And you're right. It was similar to our earlier message.
Yeah, and I forgot stuff on words too, so it was just a weird week.
Yeah, but we both basically said the team up of the Brotherhood and the X-Men, because that's a very X-Men thing. Like, they're very fluid in their teams. Whatever is going to help at the moment, like, seems to always kind of be the thing.
Yeah.
All right. Scene 1. At the manor, Rogue is on the phone discussing her latest goth reading. Rogue and Kitty hunker down for bedtime. Rogue starts having a nightmare of a castle and a baby being born. A hooded woman yells, "Monster! Witch!" and flees from the castle with the baby. Bebe. Wolves and a mad Magneto, if you will, give chase to the woman and Bebe. The woman runs to the middle of a bridge where she's attacked by the wolves. They knock the Bebe from her hands. It goes falling into the fathoms below. I mean, river below.
Fathoms below. And Rogue is like, no. Did you catch the little Easter egg?
I don't think so. Did I miss it?
I mean, it's vague, but it's there. Kitty was holding a little dragon stuffed animal. Yeah. It was the wrong color, but I'm like, is that supposed to mean something? Is that a little nod?
Yeah, I wish it was purple, but yeah, I saw it was like this kind of brownish color, which
like
yeah, it's kind of a nod. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So, Shadowed Past. It should have been like Shadow Cat, but okay.
Yeah.
But she was privileged white girl, so what shadowed past does she have?
True.
Oh, is it me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Back at the manor again. Scott and Jean come to check on Rogue. She tells them about this. Very much reminded me of the scene from X-Men 2 when Wolverine wakes up and stabs Rogue. It's the whole bedroom kind of scenario. I don't know. But Rogue tells them about her nightmare. She tells them and Kitty that this is a recurring nightmare. In comes Spike and Nightcrawler. Rogue starts telling them all about the nightmare. Mid-sentence, Rogue realizes in the dream she recognized the baby. It's like, wait a minute, it's you, Kurt. I don't know how I know, but it's you. And he's like, me? Quoi? How? Possible? Jean suggests they all go to Xavier to help. Just then, Xavier psychically calls intruder, like such a invasion of privacy, like really bad. I was like, I already know. I've been watching you this entire time. Xavier psychically calls Rogue and Kurt to his office. He's been listening this whole time.
Right. I wrote that too. He is such an asshole in this. He vows to not intrude in people's minds, but he's just doing it left and right. Like, this is this incident, but how much is he listening to these students?
Yeah. It's like, let's go to the professor. No need, I'm already here.
Yeah.
Dude,
he's
get out of
also
here.
like getting in their heads when they're masturbating and like watching, because he's a sicko like that.
Yeah, X-Men Evolution, Professor X is the worst. I mean, he's never been that great, but in this show, he's the absolute worst garbage person.
The worst. Yes. Okay, so you had your vague reference. I'm going to have mine. I counted this as a pop culture moment. Pop culture moment! Kitty talks about she was so scared she almost phased through the bed. Because that's what happened in the comics when she first found out her power.
It also happened in her first episode of the show.
Yeah, it did. I remember. So yeah, it's a nice little nod to that. In horrible, fucking terrible, awful Xavier's office, Nightcrawler reminisces on being adopted. He admits he doesn't know much about his birth parents or being fished out of a river. Xavier asks Rogue to sit next to him and think of the dream. He probes her mind to learn about the dream. Oh, and Jean's there too. Xavier is able to divine the identity of the woman. It's Mystique! He further sees baby Kurt being saved by some villagers as Mystique watches. End dream sequence.
Oh, I found more.
Oh.
So, okay. And then Xavier tells Rogue that her dream is actually a repressed memory. Xavier realizes that Rogue must have gotten the memories from someone she absorbed powers from recently. Kurt thinks it's him and begs Xavier to scan his mind for any more memories. Xavier excuses everyone for the night. He's like, tomorrow. Even though he's like, I would love to see, I think there's more to this, even though I already know, and I won't tell you anymore. But let's talk about how mad I get about what he does. So whatever.
You just made me think of Xavier going, tomorrow. It's just a day away.
Exactly. I'll love you tomorrow.
But you're right. This is so frustrating because he already knows, we find out, and he's just like gaslighting his students. This is literally only like 2 episodes after all his students were like, please, Professor, don't lie to us again.
Exactly.
He's there.
It's like, it's like, I'll tell you more when the time is right. Even though I know who everybody in this dream sequence is, I totally put 2 and 2 together, but let's just leave it vague. You probably shouldn't know.
Yeah, go back to school with your principal who's trying to kill you, but make sure you respect her. Her.
Yeah, I'll tell you after school tomorrow, even though I'm going to be at your school tomorrow.
Yeah. The next day, Xavier goes to see Mystique in her office at the school. He tells her Rogue absorbed her memories recently. Xavier tells Mystique he knows Kurt is her son. He wants to know what Magneto did to her baby. Mystique starts reliving the memories and kicks Xavier out. Xavier assures Mystique that Kurt has turned into a very fine lad. And then he leaves.
He tries to be like, get the up and up on her. I was like, I'm going to say something douchey to make you mad and go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, because he already knew everything about this, I believe the only reason he went to this school over here was so that he can probe Mystique's mind to get the coordinates to the lab. This is the only reason he went there, to be an asshole even more.
Agreed. Yeah, he just wanted to rub it in Mystique's face that I'm getting to know your son that you've never known, and I'm going to get these coordinates. Because, yeah, that was his only goal.
Yeah. All right. Xavier leaves the school. He abruptly stops and mentally tells Logan he has the coordinates. Miraculous lie. Logan starts off the Blackbird and goes to follow Xavier's target.
Now, here's the thing. even without Cerebro, he could have just pulled that out of her head from the school. He didn't have to go. With Cerebro, he could have easily done it. He just wanted to, like he said, rub it in her face. All right, between classes, Kurt and Rogue talk about whether they should know more about their past or not. Kurt tells Rogue that his adoptive parents always got all weird whenever he would ask about his birth parents. Kurt lets down his image inducer and ports out. Did he have to let it down to port? I don't know.
No.
Yeah. A nearby student with fleek hair was listening in the whole time.
Fleek.
You're welcome.
What time period is that? I don't even know.
I don't even know. It sounded appropriate for this. So.
Yeah.
The student turns a corner and shifts into Mystique. She is visibly upset about hearing Kurt talk about his past. So yeah, like, if this was a normal student, they would have totally seen Kurt turn blue and poured out.
It's horrible. He's like, I'm over this. Like, and then I'm like, because at first I'm like, okay, you're stupid. And then they made a point of zooming in on the student. He's like, I'm in my locker. I didn't see anything. Oh my God. But like, oh, but it doesn't matter because I heard everything and I'm Mystique.
Yeah.
So, yeah, super weird. They don't care.
Nope. All
right. Later, Mystique gives a manila Luzon envelope to Pietro. She orders him to deliver the envelope somewhere. She assures Pietro he is fast enough.
You're fast enough, little buddy. Little buddy.
She is super trustworthy, though. Like, really, get it done yourself. Mystique is usually a lot more tactful than this.
Yeah, I feel like the Mystique we would have known would have just turned into a bird and flown it over to Kurt at the school.
Right.
Because she can turn into anything she wants in this, so why would she trust it to Pietro?
Yeah.
Logan reports in that he found the coordinates. He leaves the Blackbird to set out on foot. Just then, Quicksilver speeds into the manor. He knocks on Kurt's door and leaves the envelope. Kurt picks it up and reads the letter inside. If you want to know the truth, come to the new mall construction site at sundown. Come alone. There will be no periods or commas or anything. This is just a large run-on sentence. Kurt puts the letter in a drawer and then decides to go to the mall. Just then, Scott comes into Kurt's room to tell him Xavier may have found more information. He finds the room empty. So I feel like this is very indicative of what happens when you have a parental figure who's lying to you. If you're not getting the answers from them, this is like Ariel. This is Ariel. Like, she turns to Ursula because her dad's not listening to her, even though her dad had all the answers all along.
Yeah. Pietro reports into Magneto about the note and Mystique's plan to meet up with Kurt. Magneto is in a lab that suspiciously looks like the one in Rogue's dreams. He orders Pietro to gather the others and stop Nightcrawler from getting to Mystique. Stop her from telling him things that he probably already might know. Meanwhile, he watches the monitor as Logan lands in the Blackbird.
Logan leaps into action and makes his way to the castle. As he enters the castle, automated defenses attack him. Logan definitely gets past each of the defenses. Wolverine makes his way into the lab to find it destroyed. Xavier checks in over the comm. Wolverine tells him the lab was destroyed very recently. Just then, Wolverine sees a bomb has been planted. He makes his daring escape as the castle explodes and falls apart. Escape.
Escape. Back at the manor, Scott catches up to Jean. He tells her Kurt is gone. The two of them go to Kurt's room to look for clues. Jean finds the letter from Mystique, and the two future lovers go to mobilize the team. Let's move.
2000s moment.
You know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning?
2000s moment. Did you notice it?
No.
They're looking through Kurt's room, and I think it's Gene takes a tape out of his tape player, like a cassette tape.
Oh,
Or no,
yes.
like a tape player, which CDs were already out by then. I know that for sure because I got my first CD when I was like, I think 11 or 12, which would have been like 95, 96.
Okay.
So he's behind a little bit. He should have had CDs already.
Yeah, but they're probably maybe they're left over. I mean, we were probably still making mixtapes though, even though CDs existed.
Touche.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we still needed to record our songs from the radio if you just wanted that one song or whatever. So
yeah,
mixtapes, those were definitely an act of love because of all the time and dedication, sitting around waiting for your song to come on.
This might sound funny, but mixtapes are a very fond memory in my family because we used to go boating a lot. We used to take our boat out to Laughlin and put it in the river, like away from the casinos. So I would make boat tapes for us to listen to.
Oh.
And like, it's become a thing where for my mom's birthday, like she prefers we go like rent a boat and like drive around playing like music that I put together.
That's
and
so
like we
cool.
have this, I know it's kind of cute. And we have this running joke because like on one of the tapes, like, because we love Papa Roach. We loved Last Resort.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
On one of the tapes, I started it late. So like whenever that tape would start, it would start with Zort. So sometimes we do that. Zort.
This is my Zort. Oh my gosh. I remember singing that at the breakfast table at my friend's house. Suffocation, no breathing. Good times.
Good times.
And Falling in Reverse has that amazing cover. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, their cover. It tears me up every time I listen to it. It's so amazing. Yeah.
Or way off topic, but everybody listen to that song.
Yeah. Falling in Reverse, Last Resort. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Back on track though, I did notice a few things. At the construction site, Kurt makes his entrance. He is greeted by the woman in the cloak. Who is it? She reveals herself to be Mystique. What? She reveals herself to be his mother. Kurt does not take the news well and demands answers. Suddenly, the Brotherhood makes their entrance. Mystique orders them to go away, but Pietro insists they are following the orders of someone on a higher pay grade. Bitch, there's only one person who's in charge of Mystique. We all know who it is.
Yeah.
The X-Team joins the party and begins fighting the Brotherhood. The X-Team easily dispatches the Brotherhood and saves Kurt. I did notice Lance Alvar's orgasm face when he used his powers.
He's been doing it this entire time, so I'm glad you finally noticed. It was very evident here. But he does it ever since his first episode. I'm like, what is your face, dude? And even Rogue does it later when she observes his power. She does the face too.
Oh no. This one's a little bit of a pop culture moment. I still counted it. Pop culture moment. Because when Kurt finds out that Mystique is his mom, he goes, no, that's impossible. And that's exactly what Luke says when he finds out Vader's his father.
Interesting.
I think they did it on purpose. Yeah. Which is kind of funny that when you think about it from today's continuity, that Mystique is actually his father. So it's even more like alike than what they would have thought at the time.
Yeah. That's funny. As the team finishes handling the Brotherhood, they see Mystique making her escape. Jean orders Rogue to go after her and absorb. Oh, and we talked about that. As Jean helps Kurt, Rogue catches up to Mystique. Rogue uses the power she stole from Lance Alvars to halt Mystique. Mystique turns into a crow and flies off. And she drops her cloak. She's naked.
Yeah, she does. Mm-hmm. I'm back at the manor. Logan confers with Xavier on Rogue's dream. They reveal that Ragu's dreams were actually Mystique's memoirs. Logan tells Xavier, Scott, and Jean about the lab so they could see what's on the slab. He says it looked like Frankenstein's lab. Xavier is surprised Nita went so far as to experiment on mutants. Logan cautions them all to not tell Kurt about what they know, at least for now. Let's continue lying to these poor students who have just gone through something traumatic.
Mm-hmm. And clearly it still has issues about it and still has stress about it. And don't you think it would be better if he just has all the information in front of him?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Speaking of, on a balcony, Kurt talks to Rogue about Mystique being his mother. Rogue tries to comfort Kurt. Yeah, and she's like, if they're keeping something from you, maybe it's for a good reason. Okay. She assures him that Mystique might just be fucking with him. Yeah, maybe she's lying to you just because you know how crazy she can be. Kurt doesn't think so since, well, him and Mystique are both blue and all. You definitely have the look together. Rogue vows to help Kurt in any way she can. Rogue leaves Kurt to go study for finals. She's like, okay, well, anyway, I got other stuff to do.
Yeah. I forget, does Rogue know Mystique is her foster mother at this point?
No, because she only talked about Irene. She knows nothing about Mystique's involvement in it.
Okay. Interesting. I wonder then how that works with, like, I know Mystique was kind of a shadow figure in the picture, but, like, I wonder if Rogue ever wonders who the other person in the picture was.
Right. I mean, right. It's like, who's that, mommy? It's your other mommy that left us forever ago. And she could have been under a disguise, too. She wasn't probably in her Mystique form. Some other lady. So.
Right. Yeah, so that's interesting because she doesn't think Principal Darkholm is her parent, and she doesn't know Mystique is her parent. So, yeah, there's probably a third persona.
Mm-hmm.
Mystique stands at her office window watching all the normal families as she mourns for the life she lost with her own son and daughter? Question mark? Daughter? Oh.
I do not. Well, do you get what they're going for? Because they totally changed Kurt's origin story here, and that's what bothers me.
With Magneto?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I have mixed feelings on that because, like, it's cool that Magneto's involved, but it's not, to me, it's not Magneto's MO. Like, this is more of a
Sinister.
Sinister or high evolutionary type thing.
Yeah. So, what was it that I read? It said something like, and this is confirmed by the writers. When asked what exactly Magneto had done to baby Kurt in Shattered Past, head writer and producer Greg Johnson said, the way we see it, Magneto experimented on him in an attempt to trigger the X gene and succeeded. So he wasn't a mutant originally, or maybe he was going to. They maybe had it triggered earlier than it should have.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it. So he already had the X gene, but then Magneto found a way to trigger it as a baby instead of it manifesting on its own when Kurt was a teenager. Which I guess is interesting because it might explain how Kurt survived the fall. If he already had his X gene, maybe he involuntarily
teleported out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's okay if you consider this. I mean, like I do, we do consider this like an alternate dimension. So, like, this is like a whole separate universe with different rules. I'm going to find a lot of the time. Like, there's similar pathways, similar power sets, but this is like another multiverse of regular X-Men.
Yeah, I know, and like I'm okay with that. I just get a little iffy when they start changing up who the characters are, which I don't hate that Magneto experimented on Kurt. I just need more at this point, and then I think I can make a judgment on it.
I don't mind that I don't think it's out of his zone of doing it, but it is enough that you need more explanation. What would cause him to veer down that path?
Well, and I wonder too, it is kind of similar, if you think about it, to Magneto in the X-Men live-action movie, because he did experiment on Kelly. So if they're going off of, like, if that's their template, then it makes more sense.
That's true. Yeah. Pretty much, a lot of the show was just inspired by that movie, as a result of that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie definitely made waves in the comics, in the show. Like, it changed a lot. I know you probably saw too, but there were some alternate titles to this episode. Some of them I like, some of them I hate. Like, bad dreams can be happening. That's such a bad title. Or the nightmares will come true. I do like this title, I Dream of Rogue. The only problem with it is it doesn't really talk about what's happening in the episode.
Right. It's nothing to do with genies at all.
Well, and it's nothing to do with nobody's dreaming of Rogue. Rogue's the ones having the dreams.
Yeah.
And I think if they called it I Dream of Nightcrawler, then it ruins the shock of him being the baby.
See, it could have been, you could call it Dreams in the Night or something like that.
I would have called it like Nightmare at the X Mansion or Nightmare on Grey Mountain Lane.
Something that's like gives you a touch of it, but without destroying your whole world.
Oh, that was an interesting pause. Destroying your whole.
How we do.
But yeah, we're used to bad titles from this show. Let's talk about the episode, though. Tell me how you felt about it, and then is it Britishly bitchin' like Emma, pretty cool like Iceman, Australian Wolverine, you kind of love it, but kind of hate it, fat and sweaty like Jubilee, or unspeakable like X-Men Origins Deadpool?
I mean, this is definitely was moving away from the filler episodes. This is all stuff that has consequences for the end of the season. Things are in motion. We're getting character histories and current characters past and how it may relate to what's happening in the future. That's all fine and good. I still don't like a lot of the characters, and I don't like Xavier at all. No one does. And I don't know. I think I'm going to give it kind of love it, kind of hate it. Just because I think it works. But I don't know. It feels it's missing something for me, and I don't really know what.
Okay. Wow. Then I think, let's see, I'm checking right now. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. I was going to say, I think this is the first time I've rated it higher than you, but it's not. Because I gave it pretty cool like Iceman, because I feel like this is more so what I want from this show. I like that it continued on the narrative from the last episode with like her absorbing Mystique. I did get a little irritated with like how obvious it kind of was. Like the very last person you touched was Mystique, but you're like, maybe it was Nightcrawler, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. I'm like, it was Mystique. Like, and you're right. Professor Xavier keeps ruining these episodes for me. Like, he's such an idiot and he's such an asshole. And his actions don't make sense. So that's why I didn't give it a perfect score. But, and also the Magneto thing is a little jarring. I don't know how I feel still about him being Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein. But overall, I like that they're actually like sticking more with the lore. I like that there's a little more continuity. So I could see how if the writing is more like this in future seasons, how the show does get better. So I'm kind of getting
to hope.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Who would you say is the MXP?
I want to say Rogue because I thought she's the catalyst for it all, but I think I'm going to give it to Jean, because she is super sensible in this episode. I mean, she's super sensible most of the time. That's kind of part of her character arc. But like when she's like, "Hey, we all should go to bed. We have finals tomorrow." and thinking like a normal person, and Xavier's like, no, come with me now, I'm gonna show you. It's like, really? So I think she's got a really great head on her shoulders, really makes sense and compassionate all the time. So
Yeah.
Jean.
Okay. I gave it to Cyclops. No, just kidding. I gave it to Rogue.
Yeah.
And for pretty much what you said, Rogue is like, I like how loving she is towards Kurt. She knows like how hard it is to be kind of an adopted person and have a parent who may not be who you think they are, in like what she went through with Irene. So I like that she's there for Kurt. She's very patient with him. I think this is cool setup for like, yeah, they're kind of brother and sister.
I mean, that's definitely evident. It's nice to see them bonding. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, we can't forget this next part because it's like the whole thing our show's based on. What's the X Factor?
I'm going to go with the title of this episode, Shattered Past, not Shattered Future, Shattered Past, because so many characters in X-Men lore have that trauma, that and that's just a staple of the characters because it gives them interesting and something to bring dimension to them in the stories that they tell going forward. So yeah, it's part of the X-Men lore.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this whole Nightcrawler Mystique scene because it's been such an obsession, I think, for all of us fans for so long. Like, they've revisited it like 3 times. It's Inception, and then making Azazel Nightcrawler's supposed father, and then coming back to it yet again to explain Mystique being the father. So it's very much ingrained in our heads. We love the drama of the Mystique Nightcrawler relationship. It's also interesting to me that this came out, I want to say probably 4 years before we got Azazel as father, because I think that happened in 2005, and this was 2001.
Okay.
So I could even go as far as saying I wonder if this kind of reignited that passion for this story, and that's why they brought it back in the comics.
Yeah.
Well, I gave you a graphic because this week we're asking previously on which Nightcrawler wore it better: Uncanny, Spider-Man, Ultimate, or Evolution?
Yeah, I'm looking at these pictures, so explain some of these to me.
So we've got, Uncanny is the classic Nightcrawler outfit. Spider-Man Nightcrawler or Uncanny Spider-Man, I didn't really understand, even though it was cool. Like, all the mutants had to go into hiding, so Nightcrawler was like, okay, I'm going to go work with Peter Parker and I'm going to become a Spider-Man. But I'm like, you're teleporting and you have a tail, so everybody knows
and
it's
your
you.
feet.
Yeah.
And
like,
your ears. It's all there, yeah.
Orcus kind of said, like, if we detect any mutants using their powers, we'll start killing humans. So this was his way of not letting them know that it was him, but, like, they knew it was him. So I didn't really get that.
It's funny.
And then, of course, we have the Ultimate Nightcrawler, which that Nightcrawler is very sexy to me, but he's also like a jerk because he's very religious in like the hateful religious way where he hates the F words, the fags.
Oh.
And then, of course, we have the Evolution Nightcrawler, which we're used to.
Yeah. So why is he like breathing fire?
He, like, his teleport power, like, manifests from him in a way, I guess. Like, he breathes smoke. I don't know. It was just a cool thing they did for a visual, but it's not really fire. It's more just his smoke from teleporting.
Okay. It does feel much more demonic than usual, which is ironic. His eyes glow. Yeah, interesting. Very cool looking. So, not paying attention to the story parts because they don't seem to make so much sense to me. Being the Spider-Man fan I really like the Spider-Man Kurt. I think he looks super cool and slick. I love the Spider-Man suit with the tail and the ears. So I don't know. Just for the cool factor, I'm choosing that one.
Yeah, I do really like him in that outfit. he looks cool. And yeah, same. Not really paying attention to the characterization. I'm gonna say the ultimate Nightcrawler, just because like I've always thought he looks so cool with like the smoke and the outfit, and he looks cute. You know, I have my thing about blue fuzzy men, so yeah, that one it is. We'll see what our sexy Xy's like.
Yeah.
All right, where can the people find you?
Yes. Okay, you can follow my personal Instagrams at KJEEZY87, or follow and listen to the other podcast we do, Words of the Witches, covering charmed books. This week we put out the Book of Love Spells. Lovely. So yeah, I thought you were there.
Yeah. You can find me on Shawn Perrett, that's ShawnPorrett, on TikTok or Instagram, which will lead you to our podcast, our podcast videos, our podcast merch, and my book. Thank you for listening, Sexy Xy's, and we'll see you next week for more.